SimWorld Sports.
Good evening, SimWorld, and welcome back to Brooklyn. We've got the Big Apple Classic round-robin first-round games kicking off, and tonight we've got two great matchups. We're starting it with Philly Stars, led by All-American Bryson Summers, going up against Charlotte. Charlotte 7-3 on a season, but they've lost 2 in a row. Philly 8-4. I am Elava, joined in the booth by Marsh, with our game produced by Ron Yell as always. And Marsh, good to have you here on a Tuesday night.
Hey, thanks, E. Happy to be here.
We've got a big matchup between two winning teams looking to add to their resumes tonight, although both have stumbled recently. I mentioned Charlotte has lost 2 in a row after starting the season 7-1, and then Philly has lost 3 of their last 5, notably losing to previously 1-8 Seattle right before the McDonald's All-American break. We have the tip-off underway here. Playing ball at the Big Apple in Brooklyn. Got Philly in the white playing defense and controlling the opening possession. It's Charlotte wearing the black uniforms with red trim.
This is a big game, big opportunity. We got Bryson Summers. A little bit of a quiet night, both in the McDonald's All-American game and then, of course, against Seattle. So really looking forward to seeing how he responds here today for Philadelphia.
Well, for Charlotte, it's the future college teammate, Bryson Summers, who gets the first bucket. Bam Wallace scores, and Charlotte scores quickly down the other end and opens up with a nice 4-0 lead here. Way quickly, and yeah, you're right, Marsh. I mean, we've seen Bryson Summers there with the ball now really struggle the past couple games, if you count the McDonald's All-America game. 9 for 26 against Seattle, and then 0 for 7, didn't score. Actually, the only player in the game not to score among the 20 competitors in the McDonald's game on Saturday.
I mean, it's not a great look when you come out. Summers has been pretty highly ranked at some points this season. He's down to 20 right now. It's not a great look when you're surrounded by elite talent and you don't rise to the occasion. I mean, look at what Cooper King and Cross did. We kind of wondered how would he integrate into a system with other big names when it's not just him in and of himself. Bryson Summers, in the meanwhile, just could do anything in that situation, so just not something you'd like to see.
Well, Summers and his Philly teammates played nice defense there on that possession. Forced Norvell. DeJon Jones, the point guard for Charlotte. A bad shot as the shot expired. And there, Summers. Maybe that'll get him loose, get his shooting touch back. Weasels his way underneath the bucket. Gets an easy layup and gets Philly on the board.
It's good off-ball movement there from Summers. I think that's something that you've really got to be looking for. You see this at all levels of basketball. If the shot isn't going for yourself, you've got to find ways to get going off the ball, and that's what we saw by Summers on the last possession.
Ball back in the point guard's hands, and right again to the rack for Summers, and he's got 4 points now. Philly's got 4 points. Tie ball game.
I like the high pick and roll there from Charlotte. You got very quick, athletic Bryson Summers, probably one of the more athletic guys on the court when he's out there. Then you've got some good talent inside to be able to free up some space based off the pick and roll. So I like the attack right now, getting him downhill.
Ooh. Evan Cruz got downhill, but then got rejected. 2 attempts. Philly won't go. Charlotte back up the other way quickly. Here's Bam Wallace. It's in the lane, but 2 defenders cut him off. Bam has to back it all the way out and get it back over into John Jones' hands. Shot clock winding down.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad breakdown defense there. Either there's no shift, there's no rotation there. When Marcus Lofton comes over to try to contest the shot as we get the foul, no one rotates over to pick up the box out there, and that's why that one led to the breakdown and the easy putback.
You're seeing the replay now. They actually are not calling that a foul. DeJon Jones going to call that block clean. That's touched by Charlotte, so it will stay with Philadelphia.
Make it part of
it. Happened quick, and I actually thought he got fouled too, and I think for that matter, so did Charlotte, and Coach Darris Simmons probably would have agreed with you. Up on 5 seconds on the shot clock. Some subs in the game now, including Darian Weatherspoon, who passes over to Summers, but he can't score.
Why?
Sean Eason. You get it to
What are
go
you
either.
doing? Why are we taking the ball from inside the paint? An easy putback as the slam on the other end. Why are we taking that outside the paint for a contested jumper? I don't understand this. You got to be more aggressive when the ball's point blank range if you're the Sharks.
Well, here's Summers, the only player to score so far for Philly. Gets another there. Impressive move, actually, to get into the paint like that. Summers, only 5'9", the senior out of Allentown, Pennsylvania, averaging 18.5 a game.
You know, it's feast or famine with Summers. You know, he's an aggressive on-ball scorer, but as we saw against Seattle, when his shot's not falling, it really kind of falls apart with the rest of the Philadelphia attack. And he is aggressive and he's playing well. They're in a good shape, but it all kind of falls apart if he's not doing that.
Foul on this end sends Braxton Schuyler to the line. Schuyler, the 24th ranked junior, left-hander, gets his first free throw to go. Schuyler only averaging 11.1 points this season. A somewhat loaded Charlotte team that does tend to share the ball, share the opportunities, but see him put up a 40-point steal game as a sophomore last year. The second free throw is good.
And I think as we've talked a lot about Summers, this is a really good Philadelphia team despite that tough loss to Seattle. You know, I think that in any season as the mid-range falls out, in any season, you're going to have a couple games that just don't quite go the way you plan them to. I think that's kind of what you got to look at if you're Philadelphia, if you're looking at the Seattle game, because this is too good of a team to have that be the calling card or the telltale moment of their season.
Nice second chance opportunity, offensive rebounding by Charlotte so far, and they're out to a 12-6 lead here early. Jason Summers has gone to the bench, so question mark, who's going to score for this Philly team now? That won't go down there for Keontae Thorne, the 6'4" wing out of New York City. At the other end, more sharp shooting from Charlotte. They have more than doubled up Philly at this point, under 3 minutes to play, opening quarter. 8-point lead.
Charlotte is getting to their spots right now. Philly, again, as you mentioned, without Summers out there, it's tough to identify where the offense comes from. Charlotte is just saying, this is where we want to go, this is where we're getting, and they're getting the baskets.
Quan Singleton gets that to go, 6'2" junior out of Philly. He's shooting 43% from the field, but averaging 8.6 on the season. Oh, and on the other end, almost a three-point play. Have the opportunity. Devin Gray going to the line. Another senior. Gray is the backup point guard on this team, spelling Norvell DeJean Jones.
Take a break. 2 shots.
Smart kid, Devin Gray, owns a 4.0 GPA.
Gray's a good playmaker. You know, 3.5 assists per game. That's tops on. They're second on the team behind DeJean Jones. Does it off the bench.
Comes off the bench. Limited minutes.
That's the kind of guy that you need to be your senior leader off the bench. A guy that's going to come in, going to kind of pace the offense. He's going to keep you in rhythm without trying to do too much for himself. I think that's it's a trait of a captain to be able to do that, and Gray does it very well.
Gray's second free throw attempt is good. Was only shooting 60% coming into this game. Looked good on both of those, and once again, the lead is doubled up, 16-8 Philly. On Singleton, nice pass inside, but the bucket won't go. Out of bounds. It is going to stay on this end.
Singleton the same. Good assist man off the bench. He averages 3 assists per game. That's second as well for Philadelphia. And he does a lot for you at the guard position, including almost 3 boards. He, like you have with Devin Gray on the opposite end, having that guy that can come in off the bench, provide a little bit of a spark, and keep the offense in flow. You have to be happy if you're Charlotte and you're Philadelphia with guys like that being the first, second man off the bench.
Well, another person off the bench is Keontae Thorne, who had a strong drive right there. Verts along the baseline. Oh! Shot block. Chance for Philly to cut into this lead here as we close in on the 1 minute 30-second mark of the first quarter. 3 on the way. Oh, will not go. For Charlotte at the other end. First of all, impressive. Demetrius August, 6'4" wing. From that rebound, quickly getting down the other end.
You know, I think Charlotte, or Philadelphia, when they come into this, I think they have to be pretty proud or pretty disappointed with how they've shot the ball, because it's not as if they haven't been getting open looks. They just haven't been taking advantage.
Shot clock running down on Grant Mercer. Throws it over to Keontae Thorne. He's going to take a desperation three that won't go. And quickly up the other way comes Charlotte again, attacking. They do pull it back up, set up the offense. We're under a minute to play now. And no second chances this time. And Thorne sets it up for Philadelphia. Zach Foote calling for the ball down low. Now he has it. And Foote shoots over the smaller defender, but cannot get the shot to go. Should be the last possession. Charlotte can hold it here.
Yeah, that's not a good shot. You need to take that earlier in the shot clock, and then when you do take it, you try to create something inside. The paint's clogged. You can't get it to go. That's a poor execution by Philadelphia.
Well, unfortunately, it's been a lot of poor execution if you're a Philly fan so far, and they trail by 8 into the first quarter. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we've got 8 minutes of second quarter action coming up. Nice opening quarter for the Charlotte Stars, trying to get back on the winning side of things, break their 2-game losing streak, and maybe most importantly, be in position to advance here in the Big Apple Classic. I want to remind everybody watching that the way this tournament works, this is not an elimination game, and it's not a guaranteed advancement game either. It's going to be a couple of these, and you can hear the frustration there in Marsh's voice as that shot once again, Philadelphia kind of meet the new boss, same as the old boss, as far as the offensive game plan goes, it looks, Marsh.
Well, you know, Singleton, that's a good take, but you got to kind of see where the defense is collapsing. He had a wide open man in the short corner there. I think, you know, Philadelphia shooting, 28%, 5 of 18 in the first quarter. You can tell that they're trying to force things right now, and it's coming at the detriment to everything else because they're just missing open guys. You got everyone trying to take over and be the spark and not allowing the game to kind of come to them and get more reliable looks.
Set play there off the inbound. Didn't work. Marcus Lofton tried to turn and score. He's limited offensively. Lofton, 11th ranked junior in the nation, but talented rebounder, defender, and kind of all-around glue guy. And meanwhile, at the other end, looks like it's a foul. No, not being called a foul once again. Actually, a clean block, just going out and staying this end with Charlotte getting it. Oh, and taken away by Bryson Summers back in the game. Really making his impact felt in a row. Step back. Won't go, however. And there's what we've seen too much of with Bryson Summers over the past week, both the McDonald's game and that Seattle game. Just a streaky shooter who's right now seems to have lost a little bit of confidence in his shot.
And
Yeah, well, it's a good idea. Marcus Lofton was down there, but nice interception. Charlotte continuing to play great defense. And at this end, I thought that was a 3, but they're calling it just a 2.
That's a tough 4-point swing. I mean, you go from trying to get this electric play, and again, it's that trying to get all the momentum in the world on one possession, and instead they're just getting nothing. Although that's a great find. That's a great find for Devin Cruz, and you came into the second quarter kind of wondering where Cruz was, and that's always not a good. It's not a good trait of a top 25 recruit to say, kind of forget he's out there. But that is a good job of finding the guy, finding a man that's open and making a look that's a little bit easier.
Especially when that man is Deshaun Eason. He'll be a Duke Blue Devil. 6'8" senior, number 48 ranked in the class. And as he shows you right there, he's got some range on that shot.
It's speaking of Duke and Eason, it's been a surprising recruiting class right now for Duke. They haven't landed that traditional marquee guy that we're so accustomed to seeing them get. I mean, you look at right now, Duke making it to the Final Four based off, Paolo Banchero. They've got 5 likely first-round draft picks. And right now, the only name that they can kind of tie themselves to is maybe Jalen Snow. But they've really done a tough job of landing the top recruits. Eason is their only top 50 recruit signee right now. So as you look at the next level, I think, signs of concern, right? Coach K retiring. Is that the end, right, of the Duke reign if they can't even now land a top 50 recruit? It's an interesting development. I would say keep an eye on.
Well, as you said, it's just been a wild all-around recruiting year. We've seen a flood of players go into the G League, but we've also seen some surprising signings, perhaps none more so than Woodley going to Jackson State. But would have to say that my own personal favorite class so far, and I know there's a lot of players still hanging out there, but I'm really impressed with what Alabama has done, getting not only Quincy Henderson, currently unranked, but I also think a talented guy who's going to really shine at the next level, but the heralded DJ Childs also coming to the SEC. So, yeah, it's not necessarily been your traditional blue bloods. I mean, there's certainly been a few out there, Jamison Johnson going to Kentucky, etc., but feels like it's much more anybody's game in the recruiting world anymore.
Yeah, and another one, Minnesota has Donald DeFetti, who's 23rd ranked, and Lorenzo Robinson. I mean, that's a good guard wing combo for the Big Ten. So it's been a kind of these underrated programs coming out and either continuing to get signings or, in Minnesota's case, grabbing one. I mean, you talked about Alabama, you talked about Houston, who's been on that
Houston
list
as well.
I think what we've seen is this leveling of the playing field as a result of the NIL, right? No longer do you have to go to a traditional power that has a ton of money in the bucket to go for you. You can go really wherever you want. What system, what coaching fits you best? And I think that's better for college basketball when you don't have, just Kentucky, just Duke kind of sitting at the top, when there's some competition for them.
Oh, in spite of that Deontay Odom rebound slam there, Philly has drawn down the lead a little bit here. It was 5, now 7. Some nice minutes being put out by Bryson Summers. Also, Darian Weatherspoon, junior guard out of Vineland, New Jersey, with some nice play for the Philly squad. Can't get a bucket here, however.
And again, I mean, talk about missing open men. He had, he being Bryson Summers, had a man wide open in the corner. Would have been a skip pass. But that's just a pass that you've got to make, and then a tough turnover at the other end.
Yeah, Devin Cruz just tried to force that into too tight a space. Not able to find a teammate. Ended up in the hands of Braxton Schuyler. Now the lead back up to 10. Just like that. Just that quickly.
And I believe that was Dijon Jones on the bucket there.
Yep, Norvell Dijon Jones.
I mean, a 43% shooter, you just cannot leave that disconnected open at the 3, and he's going to bottom that.
He is the 10th ranked junior in the county for a reason. Charlotte going to get a timeout here. 8-point lead for Simmons' squad. We're going to take a quick break as well. When we come back, 3:06 to go in the first half. Points Charlotte lead. They're looking to lock down a win here in the Big Apple Classic. They can't punch their ticket into the semifinals.
I do owe a quick apology to Roderick Little, who had a impressive night earlier as we get a 3 there from Charlotte. He is a Duke commit, so we were talking about Duke not having some of the Blue Bloods now. Roderick Little, despite being a top 50 recruit, he's 25th, so you've got 2. And speaking of Little, had a heck of a night earlier today, or rather a day earlier today, matching up with Cooper Kingy Cross. Despite the loss, and Kingy Cross did a phenomenal job in and of his own right, 11 assists, really, got that offense going. But a great night from Roderick Little on the defensive end. He just locked up CKC, who to this point he still had big numbers, but he did it on like 28 attempts. So you like to see that from a guy like Little, who's maybe more so known for his offensive output, to be able to just drop such an efficient defensive.
Oh, well, I personally, Roderick Little is one of my favorite players at this level, and it's because of how he plays defense. Fitting for me that he plays for the Detroit Stars, given that my player comp, he always reminds me of Joe Dumars when I watch him out there. And I would say, along with somebody we're going to see in our second game, Marsh, Senso Ferdinand Harris, I think is the top 2 perimeter and wing defenders at the SimWorld High School level.
It's you get a little overlooked. It's easy, especially at the high school level, and a good take there, good off-ball movement to free up the open look for Grant Mercer.
Mercer, who got free down there, yeah.
But it's so easy to just gawk at big numbers, big stats, big points, big shot totals. It's easier to forget that this is where your defensive capabilities are really grown, right? You don't enter the NBA as a half. Ooh.
I know. Deontay Odom, the 2 big men, by the way, there. Deontay Odom, 6'8", found Nathaniel Dobbins, 6'9", and resulting splash dunk restores the lead at more than double digits again. But finish your thought there, Marsh.
You don't walk into the NBA as a good defender. It's built here at this level, and Roderick Little's doing it.
Charlotte is also taking care of business. Tough shot there, won't go. Zach Foot is able to come up with the rebound and gets the second chance attempt, but it won't go. Deontay Odom secures it. And up on 30 seconds now. Aiden Ennis is going to try 3, and it rattles home. That just kind of put the cherry on top of this first half for Charlotte, I think.
They've been dominant. I mean, just on both ends of the court. There's a breakdown on the defensive end, and they don't even suffer from it, but just a dominant first half right now from Charlotte.
Full cracks at it right there, but nothing doing for Philly. Last chance going to go to Charlotte here. Like Devin Gray. Oh, no, he's going to give it up. And the buzzer-beating shot will not go in, but all the same, Charlotte has stormed out to a 14-point advantage as we hit halftime here. Philly, already reeling off of the Seattle upset, doesn't seem to have it back in gear here yet in Brooklyn at the Big Apple Classic, but Marsh, let's bring our friend and our producer, Roniel, into the mix. Roniel, give us your thoughts on the opening half of action.
I think there's a lid on the Philly side of the goal. I would like to see, like we saw CKC be more of a distributor earlier today. I would like to see Bryson Summers pull that out of his bag at some point. We watched for a season where he's had to put this team on his back and carry the scoring load, but he has some very athletic, slashing, rangy wings, and I like to see them get the ball in some of those situations. I just think he's getting up too many shots.
Well, hey man, he can't get assists when his guys are gonna play wide open buckets. I mean, come on. You got 4 assists because they're shooting 34%. I'm not blaming Summers for that.
I give you a pass because you have on a plaid suit. I won't argue. Looking good, Marsh. Looking good.
Not sharper than a bow tie, but hey, let's see if Philly can bring this back. We do have 16 more minutes to decide this in Brooklyn. Charlotte up by 14 when we return. And we're back. Brooklyn, New York. Big Apple Classic. First round game between Philly and Charlotte. Charlotte in control of this one, but lots of basketball left to go, and lots of basketball coming up after this one. Remind everybody watching that when this one's done, after that we've got New York versus St. Louis. Glory Tate and St. Louis taking on Jay King, Stephen Johnson Odom, Chance Milton Jones. List of names for Tim Bellardi's New York. That should be a good one.
I mean, a list of names that could grow, right? We have the recent report that Tyson Simpson has some interest in potentially headed to New York. Right, per SimWorld High School Hoops rules, he can't just jump ship right now. Like, he can't go to New York tomorrow, right? So I think that's been a little lost in the shuffles, but he can't just end up. But if he has interest in this group, I mean, Tim Bellardi, I mean, what an incredible job. 4 top 11 recruits. His team is just stacked. And if he can add Tyson Simpson and turn him into the next Stephen Johnson Odom or Chance Milton Jones, goodness, that's a good opportunity.
It is. Now, Philly may be creating a little bit of an opportunity for themselves to get back in this game. The 3, got a block down the other end, came back, turned it into 2, and then this possession, Bam Wallace dribbled out the shot clock without getting one up in time. Lead down to 9. Philly ball, 1 minute into the second half. Here comes Bryson Summers, leading scorer in the game with 10. 5 of 9 shooting in that first half. Seems like he's maybe getting his stroke back. And nice pass there. But the shot won't go. However, nice rebound to Sean.
These guys are down by 7. The way they've shot the ball, they've missed a ton of open looks. They've given up a ton of second chance looks. It's tough to look at this. You would watch that first half, and I would think this is a 15-point game, which at one point it was. And credit to Philly for hanging around, but they just have not done a lot of good things throughout this game.
No, they haven't. One of the rare things they have been doing well is shutting down Bam Wallace, 30th ranked senior, Charlotte. Now just 4 of 11, and that last shot that he made there was a really tough bucket. He's not getting any kind of clean looks tonight. Sean Eason again.
That's
Eason,
what
talked about him earlier, going to Duke. Ooh. Oh, look at that. Nice defense again from Philly. Playing well in this third quarter. I think maybe new coach J.R. Poteet, Philly boss, inspired the side at halftime, although that shot swatted away.
it seems as if it's a lot of get to the near the summit only to kind of crash and burn and fall back to the bottom for Philadelphia. I mean, you have a chance there to cut a 6-point lead down to 4. Then you can't secure defensive board, and then this comes in. I mean, that's just a rough sequence right now for Philly.
I had talked about Bam Wallace struggling through this game, but there's one way to break out of a little slump. To the rack unimpeded and throw it down with some violence. Point lead now. Charlotte on top, 43-35. You know, Marsh, one thing I wanted to talk to you about today, with new coach Poteet in charge of Philly, you're talking about somebody who's a North Carolina native himself, Coach Poteet, and you've got Bryson Summers now signed at UNC, Deshaun Eason going to Duke. Coincidence or not?
I mean, you got to think there's some of it, right? I mean, at the same time, those are two blue bloods, right? They're going to recruit themselves, whether your coach is in their ear talking about one hyping up or putting down. I think that you have to say, I'm not going to put on a tinfoil hat and say that, because at the same time, that's a great look and just a missed opportunity to follow. Also,
two great looks and two missed opportunities.
I'm not going to put my tinfoil hat because you got both sides of the rivalry, right? It's not as if it's both UNC or both Duke. I mean, I'm not going to say coincidence. I'm sure there's some type of that either a guy was like, hey, I love what you're saying about this program, or I hate it so much I'm going in the opposite direction. But those are also pretty well-known basketball traditional powers.
There are worse fates for the Philly Stars than to become known as a Tobacco Road feeder program as well. I think that would attract plenty of talented high school athletes. Well, good defensive possessions, but there's a foul on Summers. And it's going to send Demetrius August to the line. August, a 6'4 senior, speaking of Tobacco Road, out of Charlotte, North Carolina anyway.
And speaking of commitments and in college signings, Darius Player, Davion just announced that Darius Player is committed to Wisconsin, unranked wing for West Coast Select, averaging 8 points a game. He's headed to Wisconsin. Wisconsin only has one top 50 signing in Eric Dillard.
But they might have something there. Talking about a player who was ranked earlier in the season. I believe was Mr. Basketball. I don't have the information right in front of me, but having watched Darius Player in a few games, it is obvious that he just has every tool in the shed. I'm not sure if it's been an issue with coaching or with him, but congratulations, Wisconsin Badgers. I think that you've got a rough gem there.
It's tough, right? You've got 3 guys on that team, Jay Ingram, Montel Cage, and Lace Darius Outlaw, who are all averaging 10 or more points. And Lace Darius Outlaw is your fulcrum of the offense, arguably the best player in the junior class. I know he's not ranked atop it. Still a very good player in the class of 2023. Actually, I take that back. He is ranked atop it. So your oxygen, right, for offense isn't quite all there for a guy like Darius Player, who, like you said, a lot of tools in the toolbox. He might not be a one and done, and I think that's where we get lost in a lot of this is that name recognition. You say, oh, this guy I've seen drop 20 points. That guy, Paul George wasn't that dude, right? Kawhi Leonard wasn't that dude. But you get into a program that allows you to develop into that. So I'm with you. I don't think that's a bad signing at all for Wisconsin, for a guy that might be a 2 to 3 year project, but could certainly produce.
Oof. Nice, difficult bucket there. Dropped in by Devin Gray, the reserve guard, having himself a nice game. And Charlotte has this lead back up to double digits, 13. Bryson Summers has gone cold again a little bit, missed a 3. Some inside layup chance as well.
But
Like
I
you
think
said, Marsh, Philly just hanging around, yes, not letting it get out of hand, certainly, and every now and then bringing it down to level where you think, ooh, maybe we're going to have a game here, but they can't quite seem to get over that hump.
it feels like the reason that they get close is they start taking or they continue to take, but they just start making these extremely difficult shots that to this point they haven't been making. And then when Charlotte goes on a run, it's just a return to, hey, we're taking low percentage shots, and shockingly, we're making a low percentage of it. So, I don't think Philly has done a ton throughout this game to get better, so much as they'll have a 2 to 3 minute stretch where they just start knocking down everything.
It's also been a relatively quiet night for that man right there, Marcus Lofton, that just scored. 6'9" junior from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Averaging a modest 7.7 points a game, but, he is often... I remember this so well from early in the season, particularly when Philly won the opening Power of Attorney tournament in Los Angeles, that while Bryson Summers was usually their leading scorer, it felt like Marcus Lofton was the difference maker, the tone setter on the court with his defense and his rebounding. And I've had few excuses to call his name tonight. There he again is beaten by a rebound, and Charlotte quickly up the other way.
Well, that's, especially if they had made that, but this is what's happened for Philadelphia. They're getting great looks. They're not hitting them as we finally get a corner three to fall. But that very last possession, you're on a breakaway and you can't finish a contested layup if you're Bryson Summers. I'm not saying it's because you're 5'9", but that's got to be a basket that's made if you're trying to complete a comeback from down 13. You're just not going to make a rally like that if you can't hit inside shots. And so far, Philadelphia hasn't done that.
Deontay Odom gives it up to Mitchell Herbert Hare again, and trying to force a shot. That's a great defense. I think that was Keontae Thorne that should get the credit there for that, and it's a shot clock violation. Chance for Philly to, again, maybe draw this a little bit closer, maybe psychologically feel in this thing if they can cut a few more points off in the remaining minute 45 of this third quarter. Tough shot there by Summers and swatted away.
That is, I am going to blame you for being 5'9" for that one. And then just the easy connection on Eason on the other end. I mean, that's just a bad 4-point sequence if you're Philadelphia.
Nice finish, too. Nice job getting down the floor by Nathan Zerway, the 6'6" big man out of Greensboro, North Carolina. There's a nice dish to Lofton, and he finishes that one. It's about Lofton's range there, 2 to 3 feet outside the rim.
And you mentioned Zerway, right? Villanova signing. That's a good one. I think he does a lot of good things for you. I think that Villanova has quickly become inarguably the best team in college basketball. And you've got Zerway, 6'6" big. I think he probably projects a little bit better as a 4 at the next level, not so much as a 5, which is a little bit of what he's playing right now, but a good signing, I think, from them that they got him back in March. A solid signing for Villanova.
Not overwhelming size at just 6'6" and 215 for Zerway, but with his athleticism, basketball smarts, and all-around ability to play, dish, disrupt. Nice steal there again from Bryson Summers. He should be a force for the Wildcats for the next 2, 3, 4 years, however long he's in college. Step back from Summers.
That's got to be a take. That's got to be a takey. You cannot take a step back with the lane that wide open and then allow an open 3 in the corner in Bryson Summers' face on the very. That is a 5-point swing because of Bryson Summers.
And that was
too many of those tonight.
Mitchell Herbert Harrigan that made him pay. The 6'1" senior from Chapel Hill, shooting 44% from beyond the arc. Like you said, Marsh, that's just basic scouting report stuff right there. You can't leave that player open in the corner and expect anything good to happen.
Well, you want to figure out why Bryson Summers went from, I believe at one point, a top 10 recruit, now down to number 20, and it's because of the that kind of inconsistent play. Too many swings like that one.
Well, too much inconsistent play from Philly overall has left them with a double-digit deficit as we head the final quarter here in New York. Come back after this break. We got 8 more minutes to decide who's going to win between Charlotte and Philly. Back, just about to start the fourth quarter. Charlotte with the big lead. 9 points. I believe I said it was 11. Went into the break. Apologies.
Hey, math is tough. That 9-11 mathy. That is, I'm not gonna lie, that's a tough one to figure out.
It is often a confusing spot. And you usually trust on one team or the other to make you correct on the next possession anyway, so it often works out. Bryson Summers continuing not to hit. Now 6 of 17 from the field on the night.
He was 5 of 9 to start. 5 of 9 to start, and he's now, you said 6 of 17. It's a bad run.
Let's remember, 9 of 26 had that famous shooting line from the Seattle loss. Now Philly has been playing some nice defense on occasion. That's a nice steal from Darian Weatherspoon. And you know, I also, Marsh, wanted to talk about Deshaun Eason. Loose ball ends up Charlotte's way. Deshaun Eason for Philadelphia is actually the leading scorer and rebounder in this game. There he commits I wouldn't charge that on Cruz, but Eason with 14 points, 9 rebounds going into this fourth quarter. And newest Duke signee, in spite of Philly struggling overall, has been really playing well out here tonight.
Yeah, he has. He's been part of the reason that this isn't a 30-point loss at this point, considering the night that Jason Summers has had, especially recently, and Devin Cruz, the man who just had about 0 of 3, no points. I mean, this is a guy that comes in at 33rd ranked, is supposed to be this high-octane rim-running guy, and I think recently announced, right, that he's headed to Penn State.
Penn State commitment, that is correct. He will be in Happy Valley next year.
Which, you know, if I'm Penn State, I'm kind of wondering what version of Devin Cruz am I getting, because what I'm seeing tonight is for Philadelphia is not a good one.
Hey, let's also talk about Penn State and that recruiting class for a minute, because Cruz not having the best night tonight, but obviously talented player, 33rd ranked senior, as you mentioned, but joined there by DeLeon Dixon and Stephen Johnson Odom being heavily recruited.
Yep.
Of course, New York's coach as well, Tim Velarde, is a Penn State product out of the Penn State system. So maybe, again, having a little thumb on the scale effect at least.
Sure.
But Penn State, look out Big Ten. They could be putting together a really nice class as well, particularly if they got SJO, who we're going to see in our next matchup.
Well, you know, as much as we are talking about potentially a signing for Penn State, I think it's worth mentioning Chance Milton-Jones, a New York recruit, 10th ranked big right now, 10th ranked recruit in the nation. He's with Richmond, and he went to Richmond because he was very under-recruited, but under the tutelage of Velarde, became a very good big in this class. And you look at SJO and you look at one Penn State, that's a bit of a surprising potential signing. But then the other two, Rhode Island and Buffalo. There's kind of this track record of New York recruits where it's Shea King and Jai Edge. Well, they're going G League. They got this big money. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, you've got these under-recruited guys that have been developed into something. So I think that you look at those three and say, okay, well, it's got to be Penn State, right? That's the only major program. Well, that wasn't the case with Chase Milton-Jones. So I think it's a unique recruiting development as signing day comes up on Saturday to see just where SJO ends up going, because I don't think that we can comfortably rule out Rhode Island and Duke considering the track record of New York signings.
Yep. No, I agree. Well, hey, let's. We haven't heard much from Ron Yell except for our halftime bit. Ron Yell, have you got some stuff from the sidelines to share?
You guys giving great oh my goodness. You guys giving great analysis as usual.
Devin Cruz, by the way. Devin Cruz on the board.
I can't believe that you guys aren't mentioning the fact that Bryson Summers at this point is shooting them out of this game. What I heard from J.R. Petit, I'm sorry, on the sideline, he says that he wants to see Bryson Summers distribute the ball more. There was a back and forth between him and Summers. And he said, okay, well, hey, you lead us to victory. So I guess Bryson Summers won that exchange, and he's going to continue to shoot.
Well, you just saw he's continuing the free-range shoot out there on the field, right out there on the court right now. But that actually worked out because guess who was there to clean it up? Deshaun Eason, continuing his hot play. The lead remains 10 points.
I don't think that it's
point of this quarter.
I don't think it's
there, Bam Wallace.
a matter of us not necessarily recognizing that, but I think that it's. I think we have talked about it, right? He was 5 of 9, and now he's probably 6.
7 of 18, I believe.
7 of 18 is the number now. So you look at going. Quick math is 2 and what? 11, 2 and 9. Excuse me. I mean, that's just not. It is. I mean, as Ron Yell said, he's taking them out of this game. He's missing a lot of shots. And then on the other end, as we talked about, he's had too many sequences where his miss leads to an open look on the other end, and it's a 5-point swing.
Pretty moves there from Norvell DeJohn Jones, but he couldn't get the shot to go.
What a pass! What a pass!
Zeroaway converts it. DeJohn Jones to Zeroaway. Junior found the senior there on that one. 12-point lead. We are more than halfway done through this fourth quarter, and the Philly is going to make a run. That's what they need right there.
Look, I know that's a made bucket, but that's got to be inside. You can't take with two bigs having set nice screens for you. You can't take a pull-up jumper from the elbow. You got to get that inside.
10-point lead for Charlotte. We're going to take a quick break. Come right back after these messages, and we all got 3:38 to go in this game. Left, 10-point lead. Charlotte and Coach Darius Simmons looking to improve to 8-3 on the season. Go 1-0 here in the Big Apple Classic. Again, I was talking a little bit about this format earlier. Just want to remind everybody that even in defeat, for that matter, even in victory in these opening round games, teams do want to put up as many points as possible just because that will be a tie-breaking consideration to get into the semifinals. Good ties have to be broken. Oh, was going to be a poster slam there, but does not go in. Demetrius August, I believe that was the one trying to put that down, but second shot opportunity doesn't go either, and on this end, rare poor play from Deshaun Eason gives it back to Charlotte.
Well, that's a tough one for Meeson. You have a guy that's small in you, and you just can't body him up and get out of there. But also at the same end, a great swipe down. I didn't see he was on the defense there, but that's a great swipe down. Andre Iguodala-esque swipe away there for the Charlotte defense. And yeah, like you said, it's a tough break. And now on the opposite end, it's back to 12 and almost, I would say, about out of reach.
Deshaun Jones, just 10 points tonight, but see his abilities there on that drive. He's done exactly enough to enable this team to win, Charlotte. And I think we approach the 2.5-minute mark. I can play the role of Rick Blaze and play that I think we're about draw the curtain down on Philadelphia. And Charlotte, to their credit, Coach Simmons' credit, will have ended their 2-game losing streak. Oh, was that away from the ball?
Yeah, that was off ball. So I mean, no tough break there. You don't have the 3 making in for Charlotte, but I think you're right. I mean, 10 points for a team that hasn't been making open threes, let alone the contested kind that they're likely to get here. It's been a tough night for Philadelphia, and a miss there, I think, all the seals this thing. Okay.
Oh, wow. Attempt there by Charlotte to get some style points at the end. Doesn't work.
Thank goodness.
But Philly just unable to convert on the other end. 3 chances. I'm counting on this possession.
This has not been picturesque basketball from Philadelphia.
And then another shot and another miss from Summers. 7 of 21 now, 33% of the game, Bryson Summers.
That's a merciless end to that possession there. You took 30 seconds off the clock, you took 4 shots, you came away with 0 points.
Ooh. The 1-2 between DeJon Jones and Odom, but Odom loses the handle. Another shot from Summers does not go down, but once again, Marcus Lofton's there to rebound, put it back up.
Hey, can we understand or take any gander at what Marcus Lofton could be doing if he had a competent point guard out there with him?
Well, Marcus's offensive game is, shall we say, not very polished. We do have to remember that, but
he's good enough to be a rim-running big in a pick-and-roll or off-ball movement. He's capable of that.
Ooh, shot right at the shot clock. Goes through. He establishes a 10-point lead. We're under a minute with 49.1 seconds to go in this one. Philly is calling a timeout, but I think we're going to take a little break here, too. Come back. We'll finish this one up in Brooklyn. Final 49.1. Charlotte going to go 1-0. Philly fall to 0-1 in the Big Apple Classic. And everybody again, we're going to take a break after this one, but we'll be right back. More Big Apple Classic action. Next up, New York versus St. Louis, and this is a repeat of the Show Me Classic Championship game where New York triumphed, so St. Louis will be looking for some revenge here on New York's home court in Brooklyn. And also, on our way out the door here, Marsh, we always got to say thank you to Powerade. Thank you, Powerade, for powering up SimWorld athletes, coaches, and most importantly, reporters like you and me and producers like Yells, keeping us going through all of it.
So I probably shouldn't say I'm a Gatorade guy, huh?
No. We don't say the G word here.
You're going to look at this game as a 9-point loss and think this was close, and it couldn't be further from the truth.
No, comfortable win. A couple late threes are going to make it look really respectable in the end, Marsh.
Yeah, I mean, great. Thanks, Darian Weatherspoon. 6 points, that meant nothing.
Yep. Well, he is going to foul. Hey, compete to the end. Only 6 points, 2 possessions. Take a Reggie Miller-induced miracle, probably. Get there. And, in fact, they're just going to let this one run out. And that does indeed do it. Charlotte comes on top, 62, excuse me. They have won their opening game here of the Big Apple Classic. Philly falls to 0-1. Well, thanks for being with us. On behalf of Marsh and Yells, I'm E. Lava. Remember, come right back. New York and St. Louis coming up next.